Yeah, and I've used that. I've actually used this, and I didn't even know what I was doing until you're just talking about this right now, but I used to have an issue about public speaking. That was one of my really big issues, and I know I'm not alone on that one. I think 95% of people, I know I read a great statistic once that like 95% of the people on the planet would rather be dead than actually stand up in front of people and speak.
Right, their fear of public speaking is greater than their fear of dying.
Death. I know, isn't that wild? It's so wild. So what was I talking about? How did we get off on that?
Oh
yeah, so public speaking, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I used to watch people who I thought were brilliant public speakers, and I'd watch how they spoke, and I'd kind of watch where their eyes were going and where they were getting the information, how they moved around the stage, and just from modeling them, I've really created or built up a whole new level of confidence now when I'm in front of people speaking. It's pretty fascinating, and it was done through modeling, so that's really interesting.
You're a fantastic public speaker.
Thank you.
I first learned that you used to have that issue, I was floored. I was floored because all the feedback I ever get whenever we're teaching classes or anything like that is that you get up in front of the class and you're just like the motivational dude.
Well, I have a good time. I know I have a good time, so I think that sort of goes into the room as well.
Yes, and modeling is one aspect of NLP that Patrick was talking about on the video, but another one is actually mirroring, which is different than modeling.
Right. Yeah, in fact, Patrick, too bad this video doesn't work because Patrick and I talked a little bit about the difference between modeling and mirroring. But yeah, what's your take on mirroring?
Well, mirroring is a way to build rapport with other people, and it's basically following what they're doing with their body, with the way they speak, all different kinds of things. And we actually mirror naturally to build rapport. So check this out in your daily life when you see two people talking. We use body language to express what we're feeling. I remember in a speech class I took in college that 93% of what we communicate is nonverbal,
right.
Meaning the actual words that come out of our mouth make up 7% of communication. The other 93%...
That is so... amazing.
It is. The other 93% is tone and intonation, body language, what we're doing with our eyes, all of these different types of things. So if I were to begin building rapport and conscientiously mirroring Mitch, I might mirror what he's doing with his body right now. If I wanted to be out of rapport with Mitch, rapport meaning we feel connected, we are getting aligned, good communication. I could do something like this or turn the other way. Cross the arms.
Right.
Now, mirroring is done a lot in the sales world to subconsciously build rapport with a prospective buyer. When you are really obvious about mirroring and you do exactly what somebody else does, people often feel manipulated. Like all of a sudden they're not quite sure, I had a really good feeling with this person, and then all of a sudden it got really weird. It's because Mitch is mirroring me right now in a very conscientious way. He's doing exactly what I'm doing, right? And mirroring happens naturally. It's very subtle. And when you become aware of becoming more engaged with the person that you're talking to and becoming in rapport with them, it happens really naturally. There's a great exercise that Patrick had us do in the NLP class, and I don't know if you took part in this exercise or not. I think you did. So we took the class at different times. But he has people talk about a subject that they agree on.
Oh, right.
But as they're agreeing, make the mirroring counter. So, what's a subject that you and I agree on for sure? The ice cream is good?
Yeah, well, that's definitely.
Okay, so you start talking about that ice cream is good.
Well, it is. Coffee, I love coffee ice cream because I think there's enough fiber in coffee ice cream that's actually moving through my body and cleaning out all my digestive systems so that ice cream is actually a perfect food for my body.
Well, I agree, Mitch, that ice cream is good, and I like coffee ice cream as well. Yeah. So how difficult that is to agree with you but put my body in positions that say that I don't. Whenever we did this exercise in class, it was unnerving, just as it was for me right now. It took a lot of, mental effort for me to verbally agree with you, but put my body in a position that says you're full of it.
It's so funny, too. I remember the first time I ever heard about this mirroring, and I don't remember what it was called. I think they were just talking to me about building rapport, and I was going for a job interview. And for me, it was corporate, as corporate as I've ever been in my life. It was actually a real interview, which I haven't been on very many in my life. But Yeah, I remember in the interview I was trying so hard to mirror the person because I had just been taught all these and all these subtle ways, but it wasn't very easy. I found it really hard to be really subtle and like mirroring them and doing like concentrate on the interview. I found it so distracting, and so I think that allowing it to be natural, like you're actually talking about, seems like it would be more effective and certainly a better level of communication because I would be more present.
Yes, for me, what I do naturally when I'm speaking with someone is I find things that they're saying or doing that I like about them, and I just notice them in my mind. And that way, it's very natural for me to build rapport. Sometimes, like all of us, I meet somebody and what they're talking about or what they're speaking about, I'm just like not into it. I don't agree with them. But I'm thinking I'm in a situation where I need to be social and I need to be around this person for a while. So I could really concentrate on the things that they're saying and doing that I'm not agreeing with, or I could say, wow, that person has a really nice tie, or I like the way that they blink their eyes, like that, whatever it is that I can pick up on. And when I start concentrating on that, I naturally move into a mirroring position because I'm concentrating on something that I like about them.
Right.
If I concentrate what I don't find so appealing, my body language starts to mirror that. And it's quite obvious when you're aware of mirroring situations, what's going on out in the world. One of my favorite things to do is sit in a restaurant and watch all the other people at the tables. And I can't hear what they're saying, but I'm just watching how they're relating to each other.
Yeah.
Yes. And oh, they're in a fight. And, oh, look, they're so in love. I just love doing that. And I make up my own
and
little
at
stories.
airports, that's another good place. And you know what? I hate to cut this short, but we're going to run out of time again if we keep talking and talking and talking. And I really want to show the second half of the clip of Patrick. So why don't you go and see if you can make that work? And I'm going to talk a little bit about some, because one thing Patrick talked a lot about in the show is just how we all have resources. And I know that's a really big thing in NLP is that we all have the resources in our life to do just about anything. And what's so great about using hypnosis and using NLP is that if you're having a situation in your life right now that you need those resources for, perhaps you're not remembering how confident you really were back in the day. So you can use those. We could actually send people back to a time where they felt that confidence and then bring that resource forward so that they can have that experience right now. It also works where we can take the confidence we're feeling right now and use that, anchor that, and use that at a future date in our life so that we have this anchor of feeling really successful right now and take that into our future. So it's amazing what we can do. There's no limitation on what we can do with our resources that we already have. Are we ready for the clip?
We're ready for the clip. So in the interest of phobias and
trauma reversals.
Phobias and trauma reversals, that there is a really great NLP method, very quick, for getting rid of and absolutely neutralizing the emotion around phobias. And the first part of that is you and Patrick chatting about that.
And then the second part, he actually does a reversal of a woman. I think with her it was more about a fear, which we kept pretty nebulous in the interview for the privacy for Lisa. And also I purposely cut out, when I edited this, I cut out some of the steps so that people couldn't be trying this at home without knowing all the tools for this. So Don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. Patrick is a master NLP practitioner. Anybody who's been trained in NLP methods can do this for reversing a phobia. If you messed around with this, it's not like you would do any harm to anyone, but you wouldn't have the same effect. So watch and listen and learn. All right.